So in today's video I will be using my Victorinox Forester, doing a bit of fire lighting, putting it through its paces. I got a new coffee filter which I bought on holiday. I'll be trying that out, and I'm going to be stripping some willow bark that's been here a while, and I want to see how good that'll strip. Because it's about 6 weeks old, it may not strip as well, but we'll have a go. Okay, on with the show. Good morning. I'm back from my holiday and I'm in the woods. Best place to be. Now the midges are nibbling like hell here, so I gotta get a fire going pretty quick. And I decided today I'm gonna light the fire with my Victorinox Forester and some fat wood. Now the last time I was up here, I put the fire out and there's some big dog ends here. Let me show you. And what I want to do is I want to burn them completely off. So I'm going to put them together and I'm going to light the fire on top of them. Oh, they ain't half nibbling now. Job done. Now for the pot. I got an old friend with me today. First zebra pot I ever had. This has done a good few years. 2003, something like that. So when I was on holiday, I bought a few little odds and sods, and one of the things I bought, which may be a bit of interest to you guys, is this. Made by GSI Outdoors. As you may have seen in previous videos, I've got a GSI coffee filter which folds flat, and you clip it on top of the cup, put the coffee in it, put the boiling water on top, and it drips through. Well, this is a bit of an upgrade to that. So I'll put it together now and show it to you. So the coffee goes in there, that goes in there, that sits on the cup, water in there. It's meant to take 2 to 3 minutes. Oh well, a full fill made a full cup. That worked out pretty well. Before I put any milk in it, I'll taste it, make sure it's strong. Could have put a bit more in. So let's talk about this Victorinox. Well, it didn't come with a sheath, so I made a sheath. Wet formed, with a popper on the back. I bought this knife last August because I wanted something as a backup knife that didn't weigh too much and would sit on the belt tidy. For years I've been carrying a Leatherman Wave on my belt, and they are a bit heavy, and the Leatherman Wave, I'd made a pouch for it with ferro rod holder and a holder for a little torch, and it was thick leather and it was quite a weight on it, so I thought and I hardly ever use the torch, and I've always got another ferro rod, so I thought I'd get something lighter. So I was looking at reviews, and I quite like the look of this knife, and I found it on a US site. I think it was something to do with cycling, and it was a really good price, so I ordered it. Now when it turned up with the part serrated blade. Now I didn't order that, but seeing as it's mainly a food prep knife, with a blade anyway, it turned out a good thing. It worked out well, because I took it for a week on a canoe trip in Sweden, which I try to go on every year, and it was really good as a food prep knife, especially for cutting bread. Them serrations worked just right. The strange thing about this though is the lock. Normal liner locks, to disengage this you push it the opposite way, so it was a bit fiddly to get used to it, but so instead of pushing it that way, you push it that way. But the lock works just fine, and I'm not using it for anything heavy anyway. Now the saw is decent length, cuts well, but I have got a bit of a gripe with the saw. Really speaking, it could do with a bit more meat on it. It's quite flexible, but it does work well. What would have been awesome would have been a lock on the saw, but for scraping tinders and lighting a ferro rod, it works just fine. It's got a tin opener with a little slot edge screwdriver on it. It's got a bottle opener with a big screwdriver on it, and the funny thing is, this locks. So if you want to pry anything with it, it does lock. Complete waste of time in my opinion. Been far better off putting a lock on the saw. Little bit fiddly with cold hands. Usual tweezers and toothpick. Phillips screwdriver. Now years ago Victorinox used to do these with a split in them as a can key for opening cans of corned beef, or bully beef I think some people call it, which is a nice little thing to have, but I think Nick's got a really old one this style, the Cowboy, and that had a lock there on it, and that had the can key split, but I haven't seen that for years. Now another thing which I really like about this knife, if I can get it out, is the awl. I do like an awl, especially for crafting purposes, putting holes in barks and things. Shame is there's no hole in it. A hole would have been a good thing. Do some form of sewing, although these, a lot of people talk about sewing, but I think these are a bit thick to sew anything with, but a hole in it wouldn't have been a lot of effort to put in. What else I got? I think that's about it. But yeah, it's a good little knife. I'll do a few little tasks with it now and show you how it performs. So first off, let's have a go at the saw. If I can find it. There we are. It's a bit shorter than what I'm used to using a big folding saw. Now for some reason it's going off to the side. So that's a bit shit. Now the funny thing is I never do that, but for some reason this knife is just making me do it. I'm using the serrations now. And it's really working just fine. Oh shit, see, needs a lock. Oh, went up and went out. So not too bad we're getting a fire with. So you can see what I mean, quite flexible, and I could do with a lock because it folded on me then. Luckily I got thick skin on my hands and I didn't cut myself. But yeah, I do like that knife, but you know the blade does have its limitations, but then the right tool for the job, innit? So yeah, that's a good little cooking knife and a backup knife. Two other things I purchased when I was on holiday. Number one, some Yuko matches, or UCO, whatever you choose to call them. These are the smaller ones. I've used these before and they're really good. I could have bought the Titan ones as well, the huge ones, but I just don't see the point in spending all that money on matches. These were expensive enough. So I bought this pot, can't remember how much it cost, bought it in Walmart, and I also bought an extra box of matches as well, but I had another box in the house anyway. So I do like them, they're good, and they're orange, and I do like a bit of orange. Like anything you can see, my cup is orange. The other thing I bought, and I've been meaning to buy one of these for ages, is the Exotac Vic lighter cover. I have put a carabiner on it, and on the black end, to see it if I put it down, I've put a lanyard, orange again. I've done a little modification to this. I've taken the childproof lock off, because although I'm not a child, I'm far from being a child, big child mind, big kid, I did find it a bit awkward to strike, so I took it off, and now it strikes pretty easy. Now one thing I did find was this gadget, which you're meant to put on top of there to keep the flame going, doesn't work. I put it on, just slips off straight away. It's very fiddly, so that's a load of crap. Another thing I've noticed with it, when you put the top on, it leaves a bit of a gap. That's easy to remedy. Just hold that and push it in, and it goes right in. Now I haven't bothered chucking it in a bucket of water because I've seen other people on YouTube doing that, and it works just fine. But a nice little gadget which I'd been meaning to get for a long time, because I like my fire lighting kit. I did also buy a tarp, orange on one side, reflective on the other. I have had one for years, but with green on one side, and I saw it there and it was only about £10, $11.99, so I thought, oh, I'll have that as well. So that's good. And I also bought a pair of New Balance cross runners and some darn tough socks, because I'm going walking in 3 weeks and I wanted a new pair of trainers. One bit of a letdown I had though, I was thinking of buying a new Leatherman, and I fancied a Leatherman Signal. I didn't particularly like the colour on the original one with the yellow bits. It looked a bit crap, looked a bit cheap. So I'd seen a review, and they're doing it in black and coyote brown. I thought, oh, that's nice, I wouldn't mind one of them. So I knew I was going to a Bass Pro shop, so I went online. It was the one in Nashville, in the big mall, and I went online, checked, yeah, they had them in stock. So off I went, dragged my wife along on a half-an-hour bus ride out to the middle of nowhere, and when I got there, the knife section was empty. There was hardly anything there, just cheap crap. And I asked the guy behind the counter, and he said, oh, well, what's on the internet isn't usually what's in the store. So I didn't get my Leatherman Signal. But there we are, I saved myself $100. So I don't really need one, because I've got 2 Leathermans anyway. A few weeks back, I did some willow cordage to do a bow drill set. Now, when I cut the trunk up, I did leave one piece where I didn't strip. Now, that must be about 6 weeks ago now, a month, 6 weeks ago, easy. And I've left it here, and I'm going to have a look now and see if I can still do anything with that bark all this time later. So there's the piece next to one of the strip pieces which has split, and I'm going to have a go with that now and strip the bark off and see if I can salvage any cordage off that. Well, it's still nice and green, so should be okay. Seeing as I'm playing with this, I might as well strip some bark with it. Well, after stripping about 6 strips off and putting a lot of pressure on it, I did find the handle quite uncomfortable, but then it's not meant for stuff like that. That's what a bushcraft knife with a nice comfortable handles for. So I'm going to get the outer back off now. I cut too deep. So there's the back, stripped down of the outer back, and I used the Victorinox and it worked just fine. I did find though, considering it's been about, must be about 6 weeks now, it was the outer back was holding on a bit better than it was before, so a bit more of a job to clean it off, but not too bad at all. So these 6 weeks old fibres are a right pain in the arse to separate. They have gone a bit past their prime, so I probably won't be doing that again. See what I mean? When they're fresh you can pull them apart with your nails really easy. So, although it looks green and it's still damp, they're pretty tough to separate. So I've finished stripping all the fibres down, and what I'm going to do now, because there's not much point taking that lot home, I'm going to put them in the puddle which is being created in my tarp here. I'll put something on the top to weigh them down. I may even, now when I'm clearing the fire out, put some ash in there as well. So, some final thoughts for today. Victorinox Forester, good knife, don't batten it. I'm a dick, shouldn't have done it. I have a little bit of play in it now, so shouldn't have done that. Not on something that thick anyway. But that's why you live and learn. But yeah, good little knife. The coffee filter worked okay, but to be honest with you, the lighter alternative I've been using for years it's just as good and a lot smaller and easier to clean. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Didn't really feel like doing much this morning anyway, but if you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it, and any comments are welcome. Thanks, and I'll see you next time. So in today's video I will be... Fuck off.